Hello everybody and welcome to our first JavaScript challenge. My name is Kalen and the reason I have created this challenge is to kind of teach myself more about JavaScript and how to use it, as well as teach others about JavaScript and make some fun challenges. I am a teacher by trade, so I thought that this would be the best way for me to learn and of course teach other people. So welcome. Our first challenge, and what we are going to do is we are creating a counter app where our counter will change if one of our buttons are clicked. So we can see that if we increase our number, our counter changes by 1 point, and same if we decrease. We can also reset it, and we can see if we decrease it, we also get a negative, and the color changes here to red, and of course on the increase, as we saw, it changes to green, and reset, it's back at black. So this is a fun, simple challenge for us to do that really teaches us about functions, adding an event listener, and kind of using variables to get our HTML document. So let's get started. First things first, what we want to do is we want to create a place where we can store our count. So what we'll do is we'll create a variable, and that variable called count, right? Because we're storing whether we add or subtract. So we'll set this to 0 as that what we set at the beginning. So because this is a JavaScript challenge, sorry guys, we will not be going over our HTML or CSS, but you can find it on my GitHub if you would like. So, which will be in a link below. So what we'll do over here is we'll create another variable. We're creating a constant variable where we want to get our attributes from our HTML. So firstly, we can see we've got our decrement button first. So let's do that. So we'll declare our decrement button. And how we do that is we'll use document because we want to get it from our HTML document. And we'll say get element by ID. So we have set it as a class. Our decrement button is a class, so what we would say is not get element by ID, but query selector. And we'll say dot decrement button. We'll do the same thing for our increment button. So we'll say const increment button. We are getting it from our HTML documents. We say document.get element query selector because we're using a class, and it will be our increment button. From there, what we'll also do is we will want to get our reset button, right? So reset button, this is just for us to learn the difference between query selector and get element by ID. I used a ID here. So we can say const reset button, and we are getting it from our HTML document, and we'll use this time get element by ID because that is how we retrieve our ID. We say reset button, and finally, last but not least, I forgot about this one. We are going to set our counter, right? Our H1 over here, where we are going to see our number change. Our counter, we have to also declare that so we can access the change. So we can say document.get element by ID, because we used ID for this one as well, and we called it our counter. So now that we have verified our buttons and we've also connected our counter, what we can do is we can start with our next step. So what will happen now is we will create an event listener, because we want that when we click this button, the value goes down, or when we click this button, the value goes up, else reset. So first things first, we'll add an event listener. Now an event listener is something that looks out for something. So what we are looking out for is we are looking out for a click of our mouse. So we want to first grab our decrement button, add an event listener to that, and on the click of this button, we want our function to decrease our count. So we'll say count minus minus, right? So that will minus our count. We also want to change our count over here. So what we'll have to do is we'll take our counter dot text content, because it's our HTML document, and we'll set that to our count. So now this has become our count. Right, and let's see how it works. You can see over here it's successfully minusing. All right, so that's how we can do it. How do you think we'll carry on with our reset and our adding? All right, our increment button. You can pause the video here and try it for yourself, or right, so I hope you gave that a good go. So let's start. First things first, let's add our increment button, and we use the exact same steps. So we add an event listener, we are listening for a click, and the function that will be carried out is we want to increase our count. From there, what we want to do is we want to change our counter over here. So we've got to go counter.text content, and we'll set that to our count, right, where it's being stored here in our count. All right, and same with the next one. So our reset button, it's slightly different, but really not much different. We add our event listener. What we want to do is we're listening for our click. When the button is clicked, the function that was carried out is we want our count to be equal to 0. And of course, we've got to change our counter again. So text content, and that is equal to our new count. So if we have a look at our document over here, let's save it quickly, we can see that we can increase our count, we can reset our count, and we can minus our count. But our color is not changing. So how we get our color to change is we've got to create a function. So this function, we'll call it update color, right? And we'll use some if statements over here. So what we'll do is we'll create our first if statement, and we'll say if our count is less than 0. Sorry, I sometimes get confused with these. We'll say counter dot style, because we are checking the style, dot what we are changing the color, right? We are changing the color of our counter, and we'll set it. If count is less than 0, we'll set it to red, okay? Because we want to see red if we are in the negative, right? And else if our count is greater than 0, what we'll do is we will do the same thing. Counter.style.color, and we'll set that to green. Because when we're in the positive, we want green. Alright? Else, what we'll do is we will just have our color normal black. So if it's on 0, our counter.style.color will be equal to black. Right, so next step over here. Let's see if it works. Alright, so we've, we've got to save as well. You can see we've set our function, however the color is not changing. And that's because we have to call the function. Alright, we have to call the function in our event listener in order for the color to change. So let's do it like this. We can say update color over here. So we've called our function that we created here into our event listener. So we know when we are decreasing the button, we have the color change, and we can do it the same over here. We update our color, and we can also call our update color in our reset. And now what we have done is we have successfully made our first JavaScript project, which is a counteract, and we can see that it counts up, it counts down, and the color changes, as well as we can reset it. If you want to take it a step further, you could also make it happen that we could save our counter, so when we refresh the page, the counter is still at whatever it was on. Another way to do it is we can also make it a limit on how many it can go up. So those are things you can try practice. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow for our next challenge. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.